like I said, I look at things, missions. I call it just a mission approach, right? That was a mission that I completed. Now I'm in a new mission. How I completed that mission, what were some of the tools that I used that helped me complete that successfully, right?
Better late than never, better late than never, forever hard to measure. I might see my future fall away, but you control time, so my future do what you say.
Man, bro, that's so powerful. As I hear you process, I kind of hear how like early on your transition from high school to Fort Union, then Fort Union to JMU. It's like it seems like you leverage like, all right, I need to maximize this. Like, even
That's
though
right.
I might have taken the scholarship while I was in high school with one end, it's kind of a sense of regret that I'm hearing. But then it seems like for you, it's like when you went to Fort Union, it was kind of some reality testing, but I still need to maximize this. I still have a goal that I'm getting to, right? It might
That's
be
right.
Virginia Tech in my mind, but like, you know, if I can't get there, JMU is still good, right? So it still keeps you motivated. And the reason why I process that out, because I have a very different, I have almost like the opposite experience as you. And then when you got to JMU, it's like you start looking around and we all doing the same stuff. Like we're going to the same workouts. We got to practice 2 hours.
Right.
We're around all these guys. We eating with them. We spend our whole day. So you kind of like you can do a quick inventory real quick. Like, hold on, bro. Like,
It was good, family. Better Late Than Never is more than just an album. It's a concept that it's never too late for us to change our mindsets and our lifestyles. This project was exclusively produced by my homeboy, Matlock, who has produced for some of the best artists in the world, including Lil Wayne. You guys can catch this project and stream it on all platforms, including Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, you name it, it's there. As you guys tune in to Better Late Than Never, it's my prayer that this project helps you to live a purpose-driven life. Be blessed.
I'm right there, if not better than you. So you know what I'm saying, but for you, that kind of, it seems like it fueled you, like it motivated you. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I call that out is like my story is similar, but I had a very different mindset. Like, you know, I had to go the post-grad route out of high school because I didn't make it through the NCAA clearinghouse. My SAT scores were low, low GPA. But that experience, I had to go up to New Hampshire for a year, Vidal, and like in my mind, I'm like, hold on, bro, like you're not about to waste this chance to to go D1, and your parents are kind of like investing money, like they've had to pay for me to get up there. It was the cost of college, so I was hungry from that. Like out of high school, I wasn't like a very like hungry type of person when it came to sports. I mostly did it because I was athletic and my friends played ball. But going to that PG year, I was like, no, you need to do something. Then getting to JMU, like I had a lot of interest, you know, from these mid-major schools, JMU being one of them. And so I came in with like, you kind of him, like you were entitled to success. And as we both know, we know who Arthur Moats is. Like Moats was my roommate. We came in at the same year. And so I always like compared, like I saw everybody as competition. That's my team included. And that hurt me. Like looking back, that hurt me because like my experience was similar but different from yours, where I didn't manage my own expectations. Like it's realistic in life that somebody is going to be more talented than you. Like that's just life. However, what I didn't realize is that your work ethic is what's fueling you to success. So I just called it out like back as a 37-year-old, work ethic is something I will literally never let anybody outwork me. Like, and that's to a negative, like so much so that me and my wife like, hey Quinn, you need to dial it back with the business or things like that. So I'm just calling that out with your story, man. Tell me like where you are right now, because I want to dive into some of the fitness and nutrition stuff. Like your JMU experience to where you are kind of career-wise and professional in this season. Tell us a little bit about like your world of work, how might your experience have helped translate to where you are professionally? And I would like to segue to like your education when it comes to like, you know, the fitness and nutrition. So help illustrate that for us.
Yeah, bro. I think I owe a lot to, for sure, the foundation that, you know, was provided via my parents, via, growing up in a 2-parent household. I can't gloss over that. Can't skip that. The structure from my father, just my dad is like a man of few words, but just his presence and like I said, growing up, seeing him putting on a uniform, going to work, was enough for me to speak to, and enough for me to see like action. You know what I mean? Action. You take action.
On average, it takes Americans 11 months to change careers. What we found at Lenore Coaching is it takes our clients about 6 months to change careers. Even more so, the first 60 days is where we've seen our clients land interviews and job offers. It's not because we have a magic wand, it's just because we have a comprehensive and concise career transition program. The 3 biggest reasons that we've seen folks struggle to change careers is because they don't actually know what they want, they don't know how to articulate their value to an organization, or they don't have an effective job search strategy. I suggest you try our 60-day career change course. I guarantee you that you will produce results in the job search process. Be blessed.
You do something, you reap the rewards, and you kind of provide for your family. So that was always like something that I had internally. Like I said, I never really, and it was like almost like subconscious being laid. You know what I mean? So that translated to, like I said, even Fork Union, even to JMU. It's like a bit. I say it today. Like even when I'm talking to my wife, it's like complete the mission. So I look at these phases in life as missions. Like the day is a mini mission. You know what I mean? The week is a mini mission. So that also helped me transition from James Madison into the professional world. Right? I knew that. Okay, I have this degree. I'm going to get this degree no matter what, right? Like I'm going to get this degree. That's what I'm here for. Obviously, I'm also here to play football. So, it's a 2-pronged approach for us, right? But I knew eventually that time is going to be over. So then you're going to have another mission at hand. You have to be ready for that mission, right? So upon graduation, I knew whatever, I'm going to make something happen. I gave myself a amount of time to pursue football post college, and I said, I said it. You have to this date. If nothing is happening, then we're pivoting, right? So that came, and I was fortunate to have an opportunity to join a defense contractor, which is Booz Allen Hamilton, right? So that also, all of these things to me are divine. It was just, and obviously we don't have enough time for me to give every single detail, but point being is that, again, I came home, I gave myself a specific amount of time to, pursue still, which was my dream, but also be realistic with myself and be like, yo, listen. And I think in hindsight, going through the thing with, coming out of high school, going to Fork Union versus JMU, I think now I had some experience to know, like, all right, it's time to be realistic with yourself, right? You seize the opportunities that come. And that's really what I did, Q. It came via, my network from James Madison. And I was able to get in and kind of seize that opportunity. And I had the interview, things came up, was able to get the job. And that really started, again, another mission, laying a different set of foundation, right? Like my professional career. And I think I approached it the same way I did football at JMU. I came in trying to figure out how I could separate myself, how I could learn. The difference is obviously, when you play football your whole life, going to college, the game is still the game, right? You just learn other things, you mature. This was obviously different because it was the professional world, which was, completely different. But I realized that although it's different, it's still the main component is the human component, the relationship building, the communication, right? It's just you're on a different field, really. You're still on a team. You still have to be a part of a team for one common goal. So really, no matter what the profession is, it's still, there's still all of these elements are kind of interchangeable. You know what I mean? So I was able to take what I knew and what I learned from the experiences and then apply them to the business world, and have been doing that since. I started, it was December of 2012. So that was when I started really when I made the transition from college kid to professional world. And it's been running with it since, man.
It was good, family. God has called me to help people to align and maximize their calling with their purpose. And one of the ways that I do that is through writing. My first book is called Purpose Driven Work, which focuses on helping people to get unstuck in their dreams, callings, and their careers. My second book is Purpose Driven Coaching, which really focuses on helping educators, leaders, and workforce development professionals to use coaching to make an impact on individuals' lives. And then lastly, my most recent book is called On Purpose Leadership, which I wrote with my homeboy Vidal, which focuses on cultivating leadership for teams and organizations. You guys can purchase any one of my books on Amazon. Y'all be blessed out here, man.
Man, that's beautiful, bro. And I do want to pause there because I think like sometimes that gets missed where like folks like you and I think there's a lot of people like you and I who have stories of like, I play sports, right? So I know my identity has been wrapped up in kind of two things. It's like, it's been sports and then whatever my parents tell me to do. Like I come from a two-parent household. So my identity is just wrapped up in those things. And I think folks that kind of have that privilege of going to university, not everybody translates after. Like people miss that part, meaning that like some of us like you and I have friends, colleagues that have 4-year degrees but then felonies. Like I have friends that like, you know, because they didn't know how to translate some of the skills, some of those soft skills you learn, and they go back to the hood, go back to the trap. Like I have a bunch of homeboys that have done that. And then working in university after graduation, like I can't count how many of the kids I've worked with that like, you know, come from an underserved community of like Florida or where we from, like, you know, 7-5 and just go back to the trap, or Baltimore, DC, Maryland, PG. So the point I'm making is like, I think it's a big call out for you hearing your story of like, you know, you did two things that I really applaud. It's like you came with the mindset of how can I come into this environment and set myself apart. And it's not from an ego standpoint. It's like, I need people to know the value that I bring so I can help ultimately, you know, the greater cause. Like I didn't inherently have that mindset. So I applaud you for thinking that way. And then the second thing is like, you talked a lot about what I come to know as soft skills, like, you know, working for somebody like Booz Allen, you know, there's a lot of moving pieces. There's a lot of projects that you probably have your hands on. And you have to mitigate, like, all right, how am I going to communicate the priority to said stakeholder? Or how I'm going to manage multiple of these projects that have different deliverables? Like, those are skills that we learn the first year of being on campus of student athletes, you know what I'm saying? So I just want to call that out, man, that like it's huge transferable skills that you've been intentional to leverage in your career. Any, I guess, thoughts or reactions as you hit just process that your transition overall, like, you know, any reactions to that, like, you know, if you're coaching up somebody else that might be watching this, that trying to figure out what they want to do, what feedback would you tell them if you would coach them?
Yeah, for sure. I think again, man, I think that it depends on their background, right? Like I think that we can find things in our lives that we've done, whether we've like, let's say we've completed being a student athlete, a football player, we've done that and done it successfully, right? So pull from that. What are some of the things that you did or that you that made you successful there? What are some of the things that you thought about, right? What are some of the things that you could go back and change if you had the opportunity, and apply that to your place now? So I think everything I look at, like I said, I look at things in ways, missions. I call it just a mission approach, right? That was a mission that I completed. Now I'm in a new mission. How I completed that mission, what were some of the tools that I used that helped me complete that successfully, right? What are some of the things that maybe I would have changed in that mission that I can go back to and recall and be like, man, I would have done this differently. Here's an opportunity. Because I think, life is cyclical. You know, we go through life and it's almost like the seasons, right? Like this winter we're in winter right now, right? We were in winter last year. Now, winter last year might have been a little bit different. It might not have been as cold, or it might have snowed more than it, but it was still winter. So maybe last winter, like, man, it snowed. I need some boots, you know. So this year, let me get some boots, and I'm prepared for this winter. You get what I'm saying? So however you have to, like, metaphorically speaking, you know what I mean? That's the way I view things, and that would be the advice that I would give somebody. Like, you're going to have another chance or opportunity. It might not be the same exact one, but take from your experience. All of our experiences are unique, so take from that and apply it to this next time. And if it works, continue to apply that, right? So for me, again, like what has tended to work is a way to separate myself, like just thinking that way. How can you separate yourself, right? And do some things that may be difficult for other people to do. Find a way to do that, and use that, you know, as even if you do it for a little bit, use that as like a springboard, and find success in that. You know, that would be my advice.
Yeah, man. But I don't know if you like how much coaching or leadership development you do in your day job, but I just want to encourage you, because like just that sort of illustration shows like you as a thought leader. Like I see you as a thought leader, and me and you haven't chopped it up, you know, a lot since we've graduated. But I see that in you, so I want to encourage you in that thought, because that framing right there is not something that everybody inherently does. Because you just gave the illustration of, you know, all right, last winter it was cold outside. I'm going into a new season, and I realized last year, like, you know, I was freezing my butt off. Let me go ahead and cop these boots. And so I think like that's a metaphor that some people like myself might have more of a defeated or victim mindset of, like, man, like I ain't getting the job, my money looking crazy, or these past relationships have been trash. All right, let me just, like, I'm not even gonna reflect on like constructively what I've done in the past. I'm gonna just keep going and just figuring it out as I go. But there's that, like, you end up in that crazy loop of like making the same mistakes. So I just want to encourage you in that same thought, man, of like, you know, what you've illustrated is something that not everybody inherently has. And I see you as a coach, leader, thought leader when you say stuff like that. So that's very thoughtful, man.
Appreciate it, bro.
Oh, hey, it's you again. The one that is watching this content but ain't subscribed to the channel. Listen, I'm a YouTube embryo, but I have dreams of one day being a full-grown YouTube man. In order to get there, I need your help. Subscribe to the channel. I am trying to help people in their dreams, their callings and careers, and to help scale that growth, all you got to do is help a brother by hitting that subscribe button. Bless your brother so I can bless others. It's that simple. Be blessed. Better late than never. Better late than never. Forever hard to measure. I might see my future fall away, but you control time, so my future do what you say.